Okay, welcome to the lesson five on settlement. Now, in this video, we're going to look at changes in land use patterns within the CBD, or sorry, in an urban area. Now, so the way in which land is being used in an urban area is changing gradually. And so, unlike if you watch lesson five, where we talk about the CBD, the industrial zone, the residential zones, and transport and the rest, the various form of land uses. Now, there are some changes that is happening within a settlement. So, what we're going to explore in this lesson is we'll look at the effect of change in land use and rapid urban growth in an urban area, including the effect of urban sprawl. So the effect of this change in land use. Now, so quickly, let's look at urban sprawl first. Now, an urban sprawl, from the word sprawl and urban, which is towns and cities. So sprawl is like urban sprawl is now the expansion of cities into its surrounding rural areas. Now, in the urban is the urban sprawl. So urban sprawl is the expansion of cities into rural areas. Now, so as population increases in towns and cities, urban sprawl takes place. Now, however, there is a lot of problem of urban sprawl, which is all the impact of growth of urban areas on the surrounding natural environment. So if they ask you what is the problem of urban sprawl, or if you ask in an exam and they say what is the impact of the growth of urban areas on the surrounding natural environment. So these are the answers. Now, once there is expansion of towns and cities, what it does is you need deforestation will take place because you have to cut down trees in order for you to build houses and build city-like facilities. Now, deforestation will lead to loss of vegetation. So you bring in multiplier effect. Loss of vegetation will lead to habitat loss also, and that will lead to reduction in farmland, and that will also affect the food chain. Now, also because it affects the food chain, like here, it have impact on the food chain. So because of less farmland as a result of deforestation, there will be less food for wildlife and also less farm for humans, so less food and eventual starvation. And once the habitat is being destroyed, you find out that it will scare wildlife away, and some of them become extinct or they'll be poached and be killed. Now, also, this development of urban sprawl obviously will lead to more traffic congestion within the area, and traffic congestion will lead to what? Things like air pollution, will lead to air pollution, will cause noise pollution, um, also people living within this area because of the expansion and can lead to water pollution. So these are impact of growth of urban areas, the urban sprawl itself. Now, look at urban redevelopment and urban renewal. So what is urban? Urban redevelopment is an attempt to counter these by improving an urban area. So when you improve an urban area so that it will not keep expanding, so that old buildings can be renovated. So it's just like improving an urban area through demolition, reconstructing, and substantial renovating existing building and infrastructure. So this is a distinct change in the area. So that's urban redevelopment. First, why will redevelopment be taking place in a CBD in many cities? Now, why? Because the CBD, many areas in the CBD are old and they need repairs. Now, you have heavy industry may have shut down. So instead of leaving the place desolate, you can demolish it and use it to build something else. Now, slum clearance is taking place and housing lack amenities within those areas. So you clear them to build more better housing system. Road building scheme to reduce traffic congestion, thereby creating more car parking space redevelopment. Now, use of land for industrial estate and retail parks. So because of these things, you have to redevelop most of these city areas as population are increasing. Now, reason why part of the CBD of most cities are being redeveloped. Now, one, to open new shops. Two, need to attract more customers. Three, building new metro stations and bus stations needs to increase accessibility to the CBD. Many businesses move out to malls or out of town. So many are old, so they need to be updated and renovated, reduce criminal behavior, reducing access to vehicle to control the traffic and encourage investment from businesses. So, majorly, what's the difference between urban redevelopment and urban renewal? Now, urban renewal involves the improvement of existing infrastructure, such as buildings, parks, roads, and industrial areas to remain recognizable. That's renewal. It's just an improvement of an urban infrastructure within an urban area, while urban redevelopment is an attempt to counter the development of an area by the problem that have resulted from development by either demolishing, reconstructing, or renovating existing buildings. Now, some of the changes that you find within an urban area is when you have green belts. Now, green belts were established to prevent the continued growth of cities. Now, they are rings of heavily protected open land circles in urban areas. Now, the aim is to protect the surrounding countryside from development. Now, and in some cases, stop two large cities from merging. So, like in the UK, you have a lot of green spaces. These are green spaces, as you can see from the map. Now, so these green spaces are areas set aside by the government to stop development. So development cannot take place within those areas in order to protect the wildlife, to prevent cities from merging, to give it a very beautiful scenery, just like an open space or parks. Now, out of town shopping center. Remember, we are looking at the effect of change in land use. Now, out of town shopping center is usually found within the rural urban fringes, like we looked at in lesson number 4. Now, so shopping in MEDCs, which is more economically developed country, has changed from an industry dominated to small firms to one being led by large companies. Now, the retailing revolution has focused on superstores, hypermarkets, and out of town shopping centers. Now, let's look at the growth of out-of-town shopping centers, the advantages. Now, you can see this is a diagram that shows an out-of-town shopping center. So you can be asked, what are the characteristics of out-of-town shopping center? So if you look at it from here, they have chain stores. Now they have parking space, a lot of it. Now, if you look here, there are open land. So those lands are meant for, it can be used for expansion. So lots of land for expansion. Now you can see that here they have good road network. So people can easily travel and access the chains of stores, the out of town shopping center. So these are the features you should look out for if you're asked an exam. Now, however, what are the advantages of having out of town shopping centers and also the disadvantages? So now first, the advantage is there is plenty of free parking space. Now lots of space, so shop are not cramped. New development, so usually is quite attractive and is easily accessible by cars because of good roads. Now the shop can sell large volume of goods and often slightly lower price. Having a large shop means that individuals shop can offer a greater range of goods than smaller shop, and development on the edge of the town reduce traffic congestion. So development at the edge of the town reduces traffic congestion and many new jobs can actually be created. So that's an advantage. However, disadvantages of out of town shopping center is that it destroys the greenfield site and this will destroy valuable habitat. This will lead to pollution and environmental problems at the edge of the town. It will lead to increase in impermeable surface because of shop car park roads. so may lead to increased flooding and decrease in water quality. They only help those with cars. So people who do not benefit might include the elderly, those without cars, and those who cannot drive. Successful out-of-town development may take trade away from the city center, and which will now lead to decline in sales within the city center. Now, small businesses and family firms may not be able to compete with the vast multinational companies that dominate out of town and development. Now, they cause congestion in out of town areas, and many of the jobs created are usually unskilled jobs. Now, these are what your syllabus need you to know on the effect of change in land use in an urban area. So here we've looked at urban sprawl. We also looked at urban redevelopment and renewal. We looked at green belt. We looked at out of town shopping centers. So thank you.